Hello guys and welcome back to my channel Payal again. In this video we are going to understand what is risk acceptance, why accepting the risk at the organization level, at the personal level, is important. We are going to learn a simple mindset behind the risk acceptance. I know the security engineers they talk about uh, risk transference, risk avoidance, risk mitigation, risk remediation, right? But no one talks about the risk acceptance. Accepting risk at the organization level is also equally important as compared to remediating that risk. Let's understand how and why I'm saying like this. Consider a product based organization. Okay, let me say if an organization, say this is my uh, channel name Firewall Game. Consider this is one of the organization who's you know having some product. Like currently I'm into the training profession, for example. So I'll be having, say, my products, which are, say, my uh, lectures, right? Uh, Say if I have my lectures somewhere and I make them as a paid lecture. So if you want to have this uh, lectures, what I have, uh, you know, uh, uploaded, and you want to access my lectures, you have to pay some amount for it, right? So what I will do, I will upload them somewhere, and from there you will be having the access of my lectures, right? However, if some malicious user access this and crack the code and he is able to gain those access freely, is another story. But for the members, I have to give them a paid access, right? Consider the scenario. If I am giving these lectures access paidly, so I have to do some procedure to have this paid user to access my lectures, right? So consider these lectures were hosted on some web servers, right? These are the web server, for example, and say this is the user. He going to access my lectures via network, right, from this web server. So I know I have to give him username, password, two-factor authentication, so that I will understand the security about it, right? But at the networking level, having this, username, password, or more of, I can say, whatever the user is, uh, paying for me, accordingly, I'll be giving him an access. So consider his role is to only, you know, learn these lectures, read the things from this. So I will give him read only access towards my web server. So basically, I can say uh, RBAC, role based access control, I have configured for this user. Similarly, I want to upload some videos. So say this is me. So I want to have access to this web server as well. But here my access will be, you know, say executable access. So for me, the RBAC will be the executed access, not the read only access. But however, the reaching to this web server, the path is same, right? I'm coming to this internet, whatever the internet service provider, I was having or this user was having, I am taking this same path and reaching to this web server, right? So consider if something happens like hacking this path, it will happen on this path only, right? It will not go beyond this path. So this web server is hosted somewhere, right? For example, having this web server hosted, I have taken a membership from AWS or Azure, right? Now I have to give some sort of security here. So in AWS, Azure, I will be having this role-based access control. I'll be having firewalling, all these things. But consider to reach this web server and the users coming across the globe from anywhere, the access in the firewall will be like this. For example, source, destination, ports, and action, right? The source will be any, destination will be my web server, ports, whichever is required for this communication, say 443, and our action is allowing, right? Allow. So now anyone can access this web server on port 443, but here I have hosted rollback access control, sorry, rule-based access control, which protecting having, whatever the access we should supposed to provide to the users. But my point is giving any access towards my web server is not a recommended best practice, right? If you perform any sort of pen testing, any sort of uh, communication, I mean, let me create a new file. So it happen uh, towards your configuration. What going to be detect there? The source is any, and anything is hitting to your web server, right? Based on some port, right? But having any access is not acceptable. So here, in short, we are accepting some sort of risk, right? That anyone can hit my web server, but this risk create a business, right? If you give limited access, for example, someone who's member of your this web server, the services, once you have his detail, then you will add that detail over here. Like, okay, this will be the source IP address from this user, and only that you will add here. What the policy length look like? What is the effort behind it? Are we willing to do all these things? No, right? Instead of that, we will do the rollback access control, role-based access control, and do the work, right? But here, accepting this sort of risk is important, right? Likewise, consider the other scenarios as well, where you have to give them all the any access on any port, because your nature of web server is dynamic and it is working on different ports and services, and the new things you are keep adding on here, right? As it's a dynamic world, so the port also, if you provided like any sort of ports, then consider how the risk occurs. So accepting such sort of risk with respect to your business is also equally important. But people who do the audits, who do the pen test, they come up with these things that okay, this is what the risk you have to mitigate it. But it's need to be understand, but it need to be understand that what is the phenomena behind it. If the business is taking place, it has to be such sort of things in place, and the risk acceptance need to be there, right? So guys, I try to explain what is risk acceptance with a simple example. So guys, if you understand my concept, let me know. And thanks for watching this video, guys. Have a wonderful day.